And we're live. Today I have the honor of interviewing S.W.A.Y. He has a new project dropping on August 9th entitled Summer 24. It's a follow-up to Summer 21. He's a part of the 848 Collective, a group of creatives that have been leaving their mark on the DMV region for years. We're going to bring him in and talk to him about his upcoming album and his incredible career. Let's bring him in.
Yo,
Peace, my bro.
what's good, fam? How you?
I'm good, my brother. It's an honor to have you on the Cristopolis show. My bro, I remember you in 848, killing the stages in DC.
Yeah.
You've never stopped. You've got a new joint dropping. Talk to us about Summer 24.
Oh man, Summer 24, bro. That's like, I feel like it's a fresh breath of air. You know what I mean? Like a breath of fresh air. I'm sorry, and it's like, it's a continued part two to Summer 21. Summer 21. It's like everything to me, honestly, is like a brand new book, right?
Yeah.
And every track is a chapter for me.
Yeah.
And then me, every verse is a page. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It has all of it has a meaning to me. So it's just fresh to me, man. It feels like, you gain confidence back again. It's been 3 years since I dropped anything. You feel me? It's been 3 years. So, it's definitely a blessing to be able to be here now and talk about where I stand with in life.
Yeah. Can you talk, because the album, it's not out yet. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Kind of, let's build it up. You know what I'm saying? Like how many tracks are on it, whatever you could share about it without giving up, too much.
Yeah. So Summer 21 was actually a EP. It was a 5-track EP. And I felt like, Summer 24 should be the same, but I decided to add like 3 more tracks to it. So it'll be like an 8-joint track album. But yeah, it's something different, man. So, Summer 21, I was actually going through a tough stage in my life. Well, prior to that, and then Summer 21 actually cleared it for me. And then, like, I was actually just talking to my boys. I had an interview about 2 months ago, and they asked me, like, what made you go to, do part 2 or even go back to music? Honestly, after, like, self-care and, just taking care of me and accepting this new life of mine actually inspired me to get back in the booth. Because prior to that, bro, like, I remember talking to my brother, and I was like, I'm listening to all these beats, bro, and I just can't get, I was getting I couldn't write at all, writer's block. So it was tough. So, one day to another, man, like I don't know, bro. I just felt it. I don't know. I just started listening to beats, and I just started like coming up with different stories, and just putting everything in perspective, little by little. And yeah, man, it was a blessing. It's like I mentioned, it's an 8-track EP. And it has some deep parts, deep tracks in it, man. Yeah, like track 1 is actually the intro. So I have an intro, and then I have another track called Crown Part 2, which is, part 2, the first one that I did for Summer 21. And I actually sat down and listened to it, and I listened to it with my engineer. Shout out Dustin, man, Sound Kings. Bro, it's like you think about it, and it's like, damn, man, I actually like elevated from where I was back then, because it's a beautiful thing, you feel me, when you like reflect and see where you were at that time to now. Yeah
That's so dope, man. I appreciate you opening up about the creative process, and MCs are writers, and they're expressing emotions, a lot of them. Some of it's really interesting. Some artists aren't that way, but you're an artist that's actually like putting his emotion into the track. You mentioned a bit that in 2020, you went through some things that kind of pulled, or prior to 2021 and that project, you were going through some things to pull you away from music for a little bit, and you opened up a little bit on Summer 21, and there's a specific track called Closed Chapter, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I think that'll help people understand, like as an artist, as a man, as a husband, as a father, so many things, that you're a real person, bro. I mean, you might be a dope MC, you know what I'm saying, and people are bumping it, but you're a real human being, and something jammed you up in life. And if you could talk about that, I think that that'll help other artists going through something similar.
Yeah, for sure, man. And if anything, man, like I'll start off by saying like the music industry is tough as far as like, giving it your time, investing, and this is something that we did. And I always say we, because I like to always bring up, my brother Fito and my brother Trukin. You feel me? Because we did this together. You feel me? So, this goes back from like 2007 when we decided to just, go hard. So it goes back to, investing time and, investing in yourself. You got to be a walking billboard when you're like trying to, be out here like that.
Yeah.
So, time, money, and all of that takes into play, right? And so in 2008, I had my first son. So he's 16 now. And so, when he was little, I was able to, still do shows and do what I got to do as a father figure.
Yeah.
But I felt like, the music was taken away from my time from, his mother and him at the moment. And, like you said, being a human being, right? I always I always talk about and reflect what I've gone through in life, because I know I'm not the only one that goes through the situation where like you're either married or you're with someone, and then you got this like dream that you want to just make happen. You feel me? Because this is a dream that I've had since I was 10 years old when I first started writing. You know, getting my on my composition book. You feel me?
Yeah.
Shout out to my S.W.A.Y. He's actually on the chat, and you get what I'm saying? So it goes back from then. And so, in 2020, things just went left, you know, um, as far as my family. And so, just like any other human being, bro, like, you feel it. You feel that. You also feel other obstacles in life just hitting you. And so, what other but laying these things down on my notebook? You get what I'm saying? Music is therapy. It's always been therapy to me.
Yeah.
And actually, music, bro, like in 2014 is when I decided to, work things out with my son's mom and make things better, but things went left, like I said, in 2020. But I learned from all that. I
Yeah.
learned, I learned from all that. And, like I said, 2014, I left hip hop as far as like career wise. And now, ever since then, it's just been a therapeutic thing for me. You feel me? I like to express. You're talking to the mic, really. You're talking to the mic. You're talking to your pad. You get what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing when people go up to you and say, "Man, like, bro, I felt that track. Like, I'm actually in that." You feel me? I'm actually in that, and it doesn't have to be that person doing music, but they can relate in other different ways.
Yeah.
So it feels good, when I talk about things like Close Chapter or I had Last Dance.
Yeah.
That album took me away, bro. That album took me away. That was the hardest time in my life, but it took me away. And yeah, man, if it wasn't for being in the studio, talking to my engineer, as men, right? As
Yeah.
men, just talking, we could always relate and actually like push each other, like, or upbring each other. You feel me? So
Yeah.
that was a beautiful thing to me, bro. Just being there with my engineer and talking to my brother, talking to my closest ones while doing music. You feel
That's
me?
good. That's
So
good.
yeah, Close Chapter, man. Close Chapter is a very touchy track, but I decided to,
Bro, you put it all out there. You were like
yeah,
super
yeah,
vulnerable. And I
yeah,
think that like so many people could relate to that. Everybody goes through that.
yeah,
Everybody goes, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has ever had somebody that they love goes through those things.
yeah, man. And then, what I mean, I remember when I dropped that joint, everybody was asking me about that. You feel me? And it felt good because even though I was probably gonna get some negativity off of it, you
Yeah.
feel me? In reality, this is what I do, right? This is what I do. Like, folks gotta accept me for what I do, for who I am. I'm not perfect. So why not, release all that on wax? You feel
Yeah.
me? So man, that was Summer 21 was a beautiful album. Last Dance, I've always talked about it. Last Dance to me is like my favorite album of all 9 albums that I've dropped. It's like my top tier, bro. Yeah. So just because I laid down some personal stuff that, it's very valuable to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
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 It
What
was
was Last Dance? Was that was that supposed to be like in a sense like your last album?
it was supposed to be a last album, but to me it was more like the last that like the last time that I dealt with that last part, that chapter of my life. You feel me? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So, we're going through it with life, accepting things for how they had to be at the moment. You feel
yeah,
me? At the end of the day, like everything's all good with everything that I talked about on the album. You feel me?
yeah,
Like I've been blessed, bro. You know what I mean? I've been blessed, and my kids are doing well. You know what I mean? The mother's doing great. So there's never harsh, situations. So it's a beautiful thing that I could talk about it on music,
yeah,
and you know what I mean? And other people can relate at the end of the day.
yeah.
Give them some
That's
positive.
good, man.
And hip hop ain't all like negativity or,
Nah.
you know, whatever the case may be. I talk about life in my music.
Yeah,
I talk about life. I talk about things that I've gone through. I talk about, what's going on now. It's not all about, money, females, such and such. That's not the hip hop I grew up with. You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah.
Yeah.
The project we've been talking about, the new joint dropping August 9th, Summer 24, which is, continuation of Summer 21, and then, Last Dance, all of that more introspective, deeper, transparent, and vulnerable music, is different from a track that made a lot of noise for you
Mm.
called Bet That
Oh,
with Fat Trel
yeah.
of Maybach Music fame. Can you talk to us about that track that a lot of people know you because of that song? That song's with a major artist.
Yeah.
Fat Trel maybe is one of the biggest artists to come out of the DMV. Signed to Rick Ross's record label, and to have him on your track and calling you out, and y'all are going back and forth, and it's a hype song. Talk to us about that record that people know you for.
Bro, that record, man, I always that was like the peak of my career. Like literally, like I was traveling, music was booming. Shout out to S.W.A.Y from Baltimore, man. Like he was spinning that like crazy on 92Q. Cause one of the things is like around that time it was very difficult. This was what 2013. It was very difficult for Latinos to get heard of.
Oh yeah,
Like I always talk about this all the time. Like my brother, my brother and True, we would always go to do shows in Baltimore. I remember our first show in Baltimore, bro. We were the only Latinos there, right? Go up on stage. Folks thought we were gonna do like a whole reggaeton concert. You feel me? So it's just like so whole time and so like, but after that everybody started believing in us. You feel me?
yeah,
Because we actually, humbly speaking, we brought good stuff on the table, man.
yeah,
Like we had folks get hyped. The energy was there, man. Like the energy was unexplainable, with just my brothers, like when we was like on stage, it was that chemistry. So when 2000 in 2014, I decided to get with Fat Trel's folks. And like I said, it was difficult for a Latino around that time to get heard
yeah,
of. So I gotta bust moves. I gotta make something happen and reach out to these people, even though they might say no, right? Because they're probably like, "Who's this Latino?" But
yeah,
today, I feel confident enough that my work was speaking for itself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like my work for itself. I had already singles on the radio, and so I reached out, had my man Fat Trel go to the studio, wrote his 16 in that joint with, we're all 848 in there with some rock bottles around that time, bro. It was just a whole vibe, man.
That's dope.
And dude was very humble, bro. He was very, very humble. And, we were parlaying, chilling, man. And then once the single got released, or before, I decided to do the video. So we did the video, shot the video, and shout out my man Aaron. He shot the video. We shot it at a location. Came out beautiful, bro. And yeah, man, it was. I remember, bro. I remember going to Subway on my work uniform around that time,
Yeah,
bro. Folks were just like, "Yo, are you that dude Sway with Fat Trel?" Bro, as soon as folks started saying that about me, I was like, "Wow, bro!" Like
yeah, yeah. That was it.
it hit, bro. It hit. And the crazy thing about it, like that, once the single dropped, 2 months later is when he got signed to Maybach Music. So that's what gave it the boost. So when that got the boost, I went to Las Vegas, and they played my single Bet That out there too in Vegas. And then I linked up with some folks. That's what got me my show with Scarface in Vegas.
Wow.
So it opened up many doors, man. It opened up many doors, recognition, and you know, it was beautiful. My boys were calling me like, "Bro, I just heard your track like 3 times already. We made it, we made it." So it was
Yeah.
a thing, bro. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful thing. But you know what I mean? Like it went well. It went well. It was successful and everything. But 2014 is when things just went left with like my personal life and things like that. So that threw it off. And I'm a big believer, like, you know, once, you know, bro, you could take a month off, you could take a week off. If you're not hustling like these youngins are hustling nowadays, you know what I mean? Like they'll be right in front of you. You feel me? So I decided to like just give it a break and not do it career wise just cause like, you know, it was gonna take a lot of energy and you know, and just kind of look back and be like, you know what? If I'm going today, I can say like I'm happy for what I did, you know, as far as the DMV and the hip hop, you know, and around the area. And shout out to my boy, my brother, man, my brother Trugan, you know, like he was a part of this legacy we built. Cause I can humbly say, man, like we one of those Latinos around in the DMV area that definitely you know, carved our name out here, man.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. You know, that's a good moment to really kind of focus in on your crew, on 848, who it is. You know, I guess a good moment, a good place to start. You know, for people who don't know, where does the name 848 come from?
Oh man, everybody was like, it's an area code. They're from Connecticut. They're from so 848, man, comes from our building number. We grew up in a neighborhood named Northwest Park, and we grew up in that building, and it all started with my brother. Um, Bro, let me start off by saying we had like 20 cats around us at all time, right? Just rocking, just dudes, man, just rocking random like crew shirts, but we decided to just be like, you know, real tight. We had singers, rappers, writers, and just street teams. And so we decided, like, my brother was just like, bro, we gotta call ourselves something, like something to stand out. One day to another, he decided to, you know, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna just name it 848, man. Like we the representatives, and then like everybody else holding us down, like such and such. And so he was like, it'll spark, right? Because it's just numbers. And so he decided to make it 848 the movement because we had a lot of cats with us. So yo, like our first show, we had a bunch of cats rocking 848 t-shirts, bro. Everybody was like, what is going on? So yeah, man, it stems out from our building number. Matter of fact, I got it right there. That's, I don't know if you can see it, but
That's the
the
building.
that's the building, yeah.
So who lived in that building? Like you lived there? Did Trukin live there?
No, he didn't. He would always chill around there.
Yeah.
But his across the street from mine, from ours. So Fito is my actual brother, my blood brother. So me and my brother.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's my actual blood brother, and we lived there for like, I want to say like 12 years. Prior to that, we lived in another building. So in total, we lived there 15 years in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then for people to know, you know, a lot of people aren't familiar with the DMV. The DMV is the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And you guys are from the Maryland part of the DMV. Where is 848? Where is this neighborhood in Maryland?
So Northwest Park is in Silver Spring, Maryland.
All right.
Spring, Maryland. So Silver Spring, Maryland is literally like 5 minutes away from the DC border.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Silver Spring. Silver Spring, man, you're like, you know, not that far from Baltimore, you're not that far from DC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a dope, it's like in the middle of everything. Yeah. So yeah, we grew up in Silver Spring, and yeah, bro, I remember Trugan was, you know, one of my OGs. He was one of my OGs. What he said, damn, I'm not your Truth's crazy. But you definitely are my brother, bro. You my blood brother, bro. Definitely, man. So True was one of my OGs in the neighborhood, and you know, I always looked up to him. He's a little bit older than I am, so I looked up to him and everybody around the neighborhood. So they actually taught me the ins and outs of what's going on around the neighborhood. You feel me? So he was one of those folks to tell me like, this ain't it for you. But, me being hard headed, I did such and such. So, but I always knew who he was, and then until like 2004. I had noticed that he was in a group, in a hip hop group, right, with this other cat from the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him, or he reached out to me, and then it went from there, and we decided to just like start collaborating. So we did our first track on I think it was on a Talib Kweli beat.
Yeah.
And him and then Fito, and then out honestly from right after that we started clicking. Team, we just got tight. And yeah, bro, it went from there. That's where the A48, story began. All for Talib Kweli beat,
That's good,
And it was actually,
man.
I forgot the name.
I remember, like I was at some of these shows, and there'd be shows like a La Conecta show or other events, and bro, 848 would show up, and it's like, who are these guys? It's like 100 people would show up, shirts,
Yeah.
10 people on stage, the whole crowd. It was nuts. I remember there was one show with some people from the Terror Squad was there. It was either Cuban Link or somebody. They had, and like, they had, multiple performances.
Right?
I was probably on the mic. Yeah, I was either there or like watching, but I was at the event. I don't even remember what I was doing there personally. I just remember y'all took that joint over. Whoever was at the event, it wasn't your event anymore. It was the 848 event. That's all I remember.
Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, man, it was a pretty dope. I think it was actually the Cuban Link joint. It was the Cuban Link. Yeah, because I actually did for the Black and Red Tape. I did a red carpet event and I had Triple Sace come out. So it was definitely a blessing. Yeah, but yeah, it was definitely a Cuban Link joint. I remember that. It was one of them shows, man.
That's good, man. That's good. What a ride. What a journey.
Yeah.
To give people some more background as to, you're just yourself. You were born in El Salvador, but then you moved to the United States and grew up here. Can you talk to us about how old you were when you came and what, what that part of your heritage, how that has impacted your music?
So yeah, so I was born in El Salvador, and I came here when I was 5, and and then we moved to Riverdale, which was in a city in Maryland, not that far away from Silver Spring. Lived there for like a year. After that is when my father decided to move us over to Silver Spring. And the music influence actually came from my neighborhood. It's like, I sound like a broken record, but it's a beautiful story, bro. Like, shout out to my boy Mike Kings, man. Like, he's this cat from around the way. I always saw him with a composition book, bro, and that actually inspired me to become a writer. I would see him write on his composition book all the time, bro, and I would just ask myself, like, I had no clue what he was talking about. He was very influenced by Wu-Tang, so Wu. The things they talk about is just out of this world. So he was relating to it, and so I didn't understand it, and so I decided to ask him, and I would listen to him, bro. He was just rhyming. It was crazy, bro. Very talented dude, man. And I decided to pick up the pen and started writing in front of my building, 848. And I started writing at 10. Got in the studio when I was 15. Wow. And my first track, was at 15 at my boy's studio. My boy Edward. I was just talking about the story with my this other podcast, bro. It's crazy. Around that time, his dad actually had a huge studio, bro. He had a huge studio, but it was for his church, and the studio church was huge, bro. Like, where the whole band plays.
Yeah, like live musician.
Yeah, bro. So, you know what I mean? Like, he gave me that chance to be able to, like, do my first record and move forward with it. I was in a group called Nemesis. It was me and my brother and this other cat. and we made things happen, bro. It was a beautiful thing. But I remember like my boy Edward, he was like, yeah, you know, you could rap, you could do this, you could do that, but don't cuss, all right, bro? You can say the N-word, but, you know, don't cuss. Bro, it was crazy. I was like, how does that happen? And around that time, you know, around that time, it was just, you know, it was a freedom of speech thing that, you know, you say anything you want. You feel me? So,
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful thing, man. At 15, for me to have my first record, you know, I was playing it all the time, man. But yeah, my neighborhood did influence me a lot into wanna become an artist, become a writer, and you know, it went from there, bro. And especially like, you know, you live in a neighborhood where you see thousands of things that go on. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they inspire you, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
They inspire you. You feel me? And when you talk about them, a lot of people can relate, and that's how you get your buzz up. Shout out my boy Henry, man.
Yeah. The is the neighborhood where you grew up in, is it a predominantly Salvadorian neighborhood?
So I always picture Northwest Park, and I always explain it like Northwest Park was like an island, right? It was like it went all around, bro. I'm talking about it was a huge neighborhood. So I lived in Northampton, and you had a Southampton. The Northampton side, I grew up with like, you know, mostly like black folks and not much Salvadorians.
Yeah.
The Southampton part had a bunch of Salvadorians and like just Hispanics.
Yeah.
And just being around different cultures and being around different people, like it influenced me to want to talk about things that, you know, kids around my age did not talk about. You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah.
So it had different cultures. You know, it was very mixed. But my side of the area was was awesome, man.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. You know, given that you were born in El Salvador and you came, you know, when you were still really young, but you were born there, and you know, the the child of immigrants, right? I'm a child of immigrants. My first language was Spanish. Um, all of the songs I've ever heard you do are in English, and they're lyrical. You know, you're a student of the craft of lyricism. You know, I can tell through your lyrics that you really appreciate the pen game and artists like Nas and AZ, and that really kind of like put the words together. Yeah. But have you ever done any rap in Spanish?
I think I did one track, bro, and it was shout out to my brother Fito. It was because of him too, because he started like his first records.
Because you're right at that time, right? When you were pursuing your career heavy, it's right at that moment when kind of what's happening now again. It's happening again, right? When the Latino wave is happening.
Yeah,
you were right at that moment.
Yeah, Nori had just dropped that Oye Mi Canto, right?
Yeah.
That's what it, yeah, Nori had just dropped that, so it was very popular. So I think my brother got us on a Hispanic track one time, and I didn't speak Spanish the whole time on that record, but definitely said a few words there here and there. But I don't know, man. I feel like it would be difficult if I wrote, you know, something in Spanish, just because, you know, the lyrical ability and the things that I have in my mind is just completely different from a reggaeton track or spitting in Spanish, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, not saying I can't, but you know, it can be a little difficult.
Yeah. Not. I understand what you mean.
But you know, I feel like I'm just, like you said, a student of the game. Like, you know, once you're listening to Nas, you're listening to AZ. Like, I'm a Mobb Deep fan to the death. You hear me? So, like, those things influence me. Like, big example, right? My brother's favorite artist is Eminem. Bro, I hear the Eminem when he spits. You feel me? So it's just like it's crazy with it. So things like that just inspired me to just continue and do what I do. You know, the albums with the music I create, the lyrics I spit and things like that.
Yeah. The Prodigy, rest in peace, ages so well. His music ages so well. It never gets old, dude. And
Never, bro.
I I heard Ice-T talk about his favorite rap artist is Prodigy, and it's because his lyrics aren't overly complex. He's able to kind of say things in a way that you get it, but his voice and delivery is kind of sinister, right? And so it's got like this grime to it all the time. He's like a flavor. Um, his music, especially now that he's passed away, is aging really well.
Yeah, bro. You can never get over Shook Ones, man. Like Shook Ones is just that anthem. Like as soon as you hear that, like that little clicking, like you're starting up the stove. Clack, 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 clack. Oh, bro, that's that beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like that
that's
music.
good.
Good vibe.
When we go through your, discography of, different albums and mixtapes and all of the music that you've released, you've got a lot of visuals, right? You go on YouTube and you look your name up, and there's just a lot of well done music videos with dope songs. You got this new joint dropping August 9th, Summer 24. Can you talk to us about maybe some visuals that you're going to do for the upcoming album?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing visuals for Crown Part 2. Crown Part 2 is just, I don't know, man, just the lyrics to it, the instrumental is just fresh. It's fresh. And I could have done it for a track that I got called However. However is it's a very deep track, but at the same time kind of like very hip hop-ish to the point where like it's enjoyable. It's not like a deep like, oh man, he's talking about just deep stuff,
Yeah.
It's something relatable. But Crown Part 2, Part 1 was actually like very deep. It was like you could feel the pain. Like, I had my boy Trugan say I have do an intro in the beginning, talk about pain and just overcoming certain things.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I wanted to do something different with Crown Part 2 because I'm a happy cat now. You feel me? I'm a happy cat. Like, self-care, all that took into play. So, Crown Part 2, man, like that visual, I already have like things on my mind, and even the cameraman ready for that. So yeah, that would be the actual visual for Summer 24. I would have had it by now, but life comes into play, man. Like,
Yeah.
just like you mentioned, man. Like, I'm a big like creator when it comes like to visuals. Like, I like that because when I talk, when I spit, when I write, I want everyone who's listening to me to envision these things, right? I had a couple cats tell me like, man, like that album, bro, like, I can imagine it. You talk about it, play by play. So, and it feels good. So the same thing I like doing with videos,
Yeah.
just bringing everything to life.
Yeah. That's dope. I think everybody gonna be looking for that joint now.
Oh, bro.
Now, when the album drops, is it dropping on all DSPs?
Yeah, everywhere, bro. I'm dropping it everywhere. Um, August 9th, I think is what, a Saturday. Yeah, a Saturday. But yeah, man, like I'm gonna be celebrating, bro. I'm gonna be celebrating for sure. I'm gonna be celebrating with the team, just making it do what it do, man. It's I feel happy, man. I feel happy about it. I feel proud of this project, man. Like it's already done. The only one I'm missing is my brother Fito. I'm waiting for his vocals, and that's it, bro. We got a track called with him and True called Idol, and it basically talks about like how we started, where we at, and just things that we've gone through throughout this whole journey, bro. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for that because we haven't gotten in the booth together since, jeez, man, we talking about more than like 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. So it's a beautiful chemistry when we're in the studio, bro. You know what I mean? Me with Fito, and so especially like my engineer, bro. My engineer is A1, bro. Shout out to Dustin, man. That man, he definitely puts a blessing on the tracks.
That's such an important piece, right? Because you've got the MC, like normally gets the credit, right? Because they're like the face, the voice, the song, right? Often the concept and also the arrangement, because of the arrangement of the song, that's the MC producer. Then you got the beat, the producer gets a lot of credit because of the beat, but that sauce is the engineer.
Yes, bro. It's that sprinkle that they put on that track, bro. It's lovely, man. And it's the time and the thing, and everything that put in perspective on it. You know what I mean? It's pretty dope, bro. I've seen Dustin work, bro, and it's lovely, bro. I just told him not long ago, bro. I was like, bro, I'm faithful to your sound, bro, and that's what we staying. Because I hadn't been here. I hadn't been to the studio in like what, like I said, like 3 years.
Wow.
3 years.
Wow.
I'd have gone like once or twice just to record like a single, because I had done a single for Father's Day like 2 years ago called Love Pops for my kids.
Yeah.
It was just something I felt at the moment, and I decided to drop it. So yeah, I recorded that like 2 years ago.
So,
Yeah,
you know, you
man.
talked about Fito's got a verse that he's wrapping up. That's, you know, kind of like the last piece of Summer 24, and the Trukins on the album doing, you know, talking about pain, and you three together, along with the rest of the extended 848, you know, have made a mark on the DMV and in hip hop. You're back in the studio. You're getting everybody else in the studio. Are there hopes of maybe an 848 project in the near future once Summer 24? You know, I gotta ask, right? People want to know,
Oh,
right? Is that something that, like, when you guys are together and you're creating, and the effect that it has on people, on your fans, on your crew, on Maryland, on the DMV, right? Is it something that maybe is coming in the near future?
man, bro, look, I just saw True, bro, laughing my ass off. Man, bro, when I tell you, it is difficult to get us three together just for even like for a drink. It's tough, but you know, the chemistry, I know that will eventually bring us back together, bro, and actually make an album. We've been talking about an album for years, bro. Honestly, since day one.
Yeah.
We we didn't we didn't make it happen, bro. Honestly, because when 848 was created, um, Fito was our motive. Fito was our motive. So we made certain things happen. Like we went solo, but at the same time rapped 848 because all our shows were together.
Yeah.
You know, but it got to a point where like these 20 cats felt some type of way when we ended up, and I'm being honest, felt some type of way when we said Fito is our motive. Just because, man, like he had something very special, and he still does, has something very special to the point that um we were just gonna drop our, drop what we were doing and just invest time and everything to him. So that took into play. So that held us back from even creating the 848 album. Instead, we decided just to drop tracks, but became features. So it
Yeah.
never got anything like, serious to the point where we wanted to drop a album. We were just so focused on him,
Yeah.
we're so focused on him and pushed him the hardest. He it was a blessing he got to headline the Fillmore in downtown Silver Spring. um, he made it happen for the first Latinos to perform at the Howard Theater, Salvadorian Latinos at the Howard Theater, and that's a historical building. And he ended up doing shows at Echo Stage. Just it was a very busy years between like 2007 to 2014, 15.
Yeah.
So it was like, even myself, like, even with the Fat Trel situation, like I was pushing myself, but at the same time, like I didn't want that light over my brother to dim.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing that we were able to do that, but we never got to the album, bro. And I always tell dudes, man, I'm like, man, we got to make that happen. So for me to even bring them together for this track called Idol, man, it's man, it's something beautiful and a blessing that I can still have my brothers and bring them to the booth and just talk about life, where we are now, things like that.
That's dope, man. That's
But I'm gonna
good.
definitely push them though, because we definitely need that album, man. Look, man, if we made that 848 album happen, oh, bruh, I tell you, some
Great.
shit was spark, man. I tell you, man, it would be a great album, bro. Definitely.
Man.
Yeah.
As we start to wrap, I want to make sure that people know where to find you, online, and where to get the new album. Can you share with us where they can find you online and where everything's going to be released at?
So, man, when Summer 24 drops on August 9th, I'm gonna make sure I have the link on my bio. It'll be everywhere, man. iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and I'll make sure that I'll promote it. Even though it's not career wise, but I want everybody to know that It's my heart and soul. It's my heart and soul that I pop on these beats, man. You know, relatable music, reality rap.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's definitely a good feeling that, you know, an excited feeling for me to know that I'm gonna drop something like beautiful, man, on August 9th. Shout out to everybody that, you know, has supported me throughout the years. You know, shout outs to you for having me, and everybody that still bumps to my music to this day, man. Like even sends me screenshots or DMs or like from records that, dang, I forgot I even had. You know, so it's a beautiful thing, man. For everybody that hasn't heard of me, you know, just welcome to my life, right?
That's good, man. Now, this is the 9th album, and it drops on August 9th, right? Is that on purpose?
I actually did not, but I wanted to pick number 9. I didn't know it was gonna be in August. I wanted to do it in July, but I decided to do it in August just because I wanted to take my time.
Yeah.
But I said 9th just because it's my 9th album.
Yeah.
Yes, my 9th album, and it's a couple of days after, you know, my mother's birthday, so I wanted to be able to celebrate both at the same time, man. Yeah,
That's
man.
dope, my bro. I can't wait to hear the album. I know people are gonna be excited about it. Summer 24, new album from S.W.A.Y, the 9th studio project, right? We're looking for that 848
Yes,
project.
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And my bro, it's an honor to have you on the show. I'm really happy for you for the new project, man.
Appreciate you, my brother. Real talk, man. And shout out to everybody in LA, man. I love my LA folks, man. That's my second home.
Yeah, bro. I see in all your stuff you got like smoky windows, and I saw like your visual work. LA's dope, bro.
I love.
And I'm gonna send you my number so we could build when you're out here, all right?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll definitely be down in LA before the end of the year for sure, man. That's like I said, that's my second home, and you know what I mean. I'll definitely hit you up once I touch down.
What's up, my brother? All right, my brother.
All right,
It's an honor.
I appreciate you
Summer
having me, man.
24.
Salute.
Salute, my
All
brother. Peace.
right, peace.